Hi everyone, Mature Simmer here. Alright, so if you can recall, we are back trying to spray our second round of fertilizer onto the farm. I had somehow gotten locked into a track. I don't know how that happened, but it's always a little bit of a risk to try here, but I'm going to. Alright, and we're getting solidness for the fertilization, which is obviously what we are shooting for. Again, drifted off a bit. So always a bit of a challenge. So I think at best we've established that we cannot do herbicide and fertilizer as a spray on the same day. I've tried it twice now. I don't think proving it a third time makes a whole lot of sense. I think if I ever see the fact that I spray herbicide and I don't see a pattern, if that were to ever happen, then I think I would, maybe be willing to give it a go and see if I could get some other outcome. But I think I verified when I see that pattern, things aren't going to work. I was going to say, do I see another pattern? But it looks like it's just drawing in those areas of the field. So I've got myself lined up here. I should be pretty good. It looks like I unfortunately hit some areas, although I think again that's not lime. I'm not quite sure what the light blue is, because there's nothing on this map, or nothing on these colors that would give me that. So that's a bit of a mystery. But yeah, the work today is this. Obviously we just dealt with the pigs 2 days ago. Not expecting much there, although now that I mention it, yes, I'm close, because I do have one set of pigs that's there, but the other one, to get my full load, I need to wait on until tomorrow. So I'll be back sometime after that, either tomorrow or shortly after, to slough some pigs off again and get that going. You can see we're getting close, although I probably almost need to go the whole way, because it seems visually, if I look at that, I think I'm going to have that last sliver that I'm still going to be spraying. Yeah, you can see it may get there just before the end, but somehow I've got just enough to stick out here. Yep, that's kind of what I figured. I gotta get through this little section. There we go. Now I can stop. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and run this across here, and likely then run down the edge. But the sorghum's looking pretty good. Well, it's looking quite good, let's be honest. It's a nice verdant green. Very, very exciting what I'm seeing. So I always enjoy the various parts. Certainly harvest is one of my favorite, just because you've got the fall colors on the trees, but fall colors on the trees, and the crops are coming off, and those crops are turning into money. So it's all the things I really enjoy. So that is the excitement of fall, but certainly we need all the other pieces to get there. And sometimes things just hit me like yeah, this is pretty nice. Just like when I started out, standing outside my tractor, just enjoying being there near the equipment I'd be spending some time in and looking at the little plants coming up out of the ground. So not sure what else might be happening. Haven't seen any new auctions. Oh yes, an important piece of news. I was told by senior leadership that hopefully 2 to 4 weeks for precision farming to finally appear. So it is coming. That's the most important thing. So I just need to try to be patient and realize some of this work will change at that point, usually in a good way. And we certainly will be excited about that and go from there. So I'm going to go ahead once I get here and run a bit along the edge, because then, yeah, I think I'm going to start going north-south again. But I can't really do that easily going without a good border away from the river, because as you can see, I'm already pretty deep in here. At least I'm not getting a warning. Looks like our engine is still clear. Maybe that's what kept us safe. But I have discovered when I was playing around on this map, just myself, in single player, there's a very short period of time between the warning and the stall, and the stall being the complete failure of the equipment, where you have to basically reset it back to the shop and then hope you can get it repaired, because usually you're not by a workshop, you're just by the shop. So this again is another spot I need to do, because with the length of the boom going north-south will cause it to stick out in the other field, and if I can avoid some of that, that is always preferred. Not that I can't provide fertilization to bare dirt, but why? Let's try to maximize what's happening, right? So I'm going to get this boom to the corner here so that I have some point of reference for later. There we go. Alright, I'm back on here. Took a little bit longer than normal. I didn't get on yesterday as I had thought. So here to move pigs, and then that will wrap up work until harvest. So got a rainy morning here in I think it'd be midsummer? No, late summer, because September is fall. So always trying to keep track of, I have to do it in here. Now I'm like losing my mind. Alright. Well, I may have learned something. Well, I learned that I need to feed the pigs too. They're not quite healthy, so they just ran out of food. Probably when I synced up, because I had to sync for a few hours. So at this point, what I'm going to do is I am going to wait until I can feed them. And right now, this is where my trailer is at. Alright, so I'm popping on later today. Just haven't been able to get on. So they were using my trailer. So at this point, there's several people online with Nick helping him with potatoes. So I think they've got Rented and Nick and someone else. I don't know if they're a contractor, just a friend, whatever it is. It doesn't ultimately matter. The way this server's hiccuping, though, this is why I really don't want to use this road, because as you saw, I was, well, you may not have seen, I probably cut it out, but I was all over the road because there's horrendous lag, probably because there's several of us on here, so I'm just hoping I make it. Alright, thank goodness. So, at least I did not destroy any of his crop, but that is my nervousness of using that road. So, like I said, I just don't know how much I'll use it. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and feed the pigs. I'll get that done off camera. Again, you've seen enough of it. I may include the last load of something just so you can see the new way I'm doing it. But at this point, I'm going to have to wait for the pigs' health to get up before I take them to market. Alright, so I've got the potatoes and decided I'd toss this in because this is exactly my concern with doing this now, is I'm going to end up destroying some crop if I'm not careful, because I barely can fit through here. But that's why I was trying to see if I could do it before I had any crop in the ground, but it just didn't work out. So anyway, no, I'm totally in the wrong place. It's not gonna help. It's like, I'll show you what I'm doing, but I'm making a mess of showing you what I'm doing. So let me pull here, but basically what I'm doing is pulling through. Going this way, and there will be a point where I can dump the potatoes, and then instead of having backed in, I just head out this way and go ahead and continue on. So you've got the idea of what I'm doing. I'll see you when I'm done with this. So they're topped off, but now it's going to take a few hours to have them eat up enough, so I'll probably try to check before I head to bed tonight and see if I can still sell the pigs today. So a little bit of a challenge, but at this point I'm going to go ahead and get the slurry emptied. I don't have 50,000, which is fine, but there's enough that we're approaching 40, so I'm going to get that sold. So there you go, 38,000. Alright, we'll see how much slurry we get for the slurry. Obviously they've been using my potato equipment and repairing that, so it's gotten below $1 million. As you know, those things cost a bit to repair, so a little over $1,000 in slurry. One of the folks is talking about getting a BGA and then maybe getting slurry from me, but yeah, the BGAs are so expensive, just nothing that I'd ever really look at. Plus, I don't know that I didn't want to take up that much space for something that might, would take forever to break even on. So not on my radar right now. Alright, so that's it for now. Obviously gonna get this back to the farm and so forth. Still not 100% sold on the road, but did use it since the server jumpiness seemed to have slowed down a bit. And like I said, I'll check back later on the pigs, and once I finally do that, I'll just toss in a few moments of that so you know it's done, and that'll be a wrap for this episode. But I'll see you in a bit. I'm here this morning and I did just take a peek, and pigs are at full value. So I'm going to go ahead and finally pull off 36 so that I can get that sale done. And the other benefit is I then have the content to get this episode wrapped. So, and then we can move on from there. So, I did check back last night, but even though it had been about 6 hours, they were 60% healthy, so I guess it takes about 10 hours, probably, just doing the basic math. So we do have, well, it's not really showing maybe by the time we come back. The sorghum was already sprouted, as you would have seen if you watched me talking about feeding the pigs and the challenge I had getting by the tree. So, this is ridiculous. I jumped in the truck. You can't take me anywhere again. I just jumped in the truck and took off. I need to put pigs in it. Wow. It's early, right? Let's just say that. That's the problem. So let me go back, and now I'm going to have to play parking the trailer just to get these, so I'll jump back in when I'm heading back with pigs in my truck. Alright, so it wasn't too bad. You can see little pink pigs in there. So, like they sometimes say, your parents yell at you as a little kid, you'd lose your head if it wasn't attached. I didn't lose my pigs. I suppose I knew exactly where they were. It's just kind of embarrassing. I guess it's better that I didn't suddenly get there and all the way to the animal dealer and realize I had no pigs. That would be much less funny than it is to me right now. So let me get through this field. It works, but obviously it's not super wide, and I can understand why. I mean, if I was doing that, I'd not want to give up more of my field than I needed to, but so what I was getting ready to say when I suddenly had the revelation that I was hauling an empty trailer was that I don't think I've shared the fact that I had asked the question about precision farming, and I've been informed that we're looking at 2 to 4 weeks is probably when we should hope to see it. Now again, obviously a lot of folks are doing things as volunteers and so forth in FSN. We all know that's a fluid timeline, but at least we understand it's not 3 months, it's 1 month. So let's say medium term. I wouldn't call it short term, but so we can almost taste it, right? So that's exciting. And then I had spent a little bit of time this morning because Giants has made a preview of the Silver Run Forest map, which I didn't look at the trailer or anything like that. I'm not a big forestry person. I usually dabble in it. I keep trying. I haven't tried it at all in FS22 other than what I had to do here on the farm to just clear things out. So maybe on an official forestry map that they've put together and so forth, maybe I'll poke around in single player. Obviously it's not something that I would be doing on FSN if it was even available. And I know they did have forestry maps in FS19 here on FSN. There were 2 or 3 servers, and I think I helped out on one once. Not to actually cut anything, I was just hauling stuff. And they still had some fields that they were working, so I was doing a harvest, but it was on a forestry map, so I kind of got that. But it's really nothing more than, instead of driving over something like this where there's lots of plains and so forth, I was driving through a lot of forest, and it caused me to get stuck in some weird ways a couple times, but other than that, it was just a map. Alright, so we're going to select, cell, select. I wish there was a way to get to the maximum. Maybe there is, with some sort of a button push. There we go. Peeking our heads back up above 1 million again. So kind of made up for the repair of the potato harvester and other things that were going on. So anyway, the Silver Run Forest is part of what they're calling the Platinum Expansion, which is going to be the last thing in the Year 1 Season Pass. So it's going to include some equipment as well as this new map. And so when we bought the Year 1 Season Pass, everyone was kind of informed of, you know, this is in general what's going to be happening. So they also have announced in the last few days the Vermeer Pack, which is a manufacturer, which I think they said, I kind of scanned the announcement. So I think they said the company was the first one to create the round baler as we know it. Oh, while I drive by here, so you can see that. You might not be able to over his sheds. Fire's got a grain mill or something that he put in, so he's got a production of grain, which is pretty cool. I don't know that it really helps us, but as I was doing the running around to get my truck yesterday, because they had taken the truck along with the trailer, and so to feed my pigs I went and got my truck, was attached to a giant auger trailer that they were probably loading seeds and stuff on, which makes sense because, once again, I think I've talked about, they're definitely spreading out on this map, which is great, across a lot of the fields. But if you're working far away from your farm, unlike myself, who has not invested in that here on this map, because I just go to my silos when I need supplies, those folks are not doing that. Now, I mean, I do have an auger wagon because I use that periodically for getting some supplies, but haven't used it for seeds and so forth because really I'm usually just filling up once. Although I probably should do that now that I think about it, because that would eliminate my issue of trying to pull up that giant seed hawk to the silos and then getting stuck. So maybe I'll make that change, because a little bit of hooking up to it. I think the challenge I have too is I think that auger wagon takes a good amount of horsepower, and I don't think my smaller tractor has the heft to deal with it. So I think I would have to disconnect the quad track and go ahead and do that. But in the end, it's got to be faster than what I've been doing, which is disconnecting the back end of the seed hawk and then trying to reconnect it after I fill up. So it's probably taking me 10 minutes to fill everything on there, and if I had just did the auger wagon and pulled it out, and it would be the added benefit of then that thing would be moved and I might be able to park it differently, because right now I just haven't touched it because I'm like, well, I don't really need it. But yeah, on Seneca, definitely I had one, loved it, aside from the fact that, you know, with my favorite orange color, I was able to paint the entire thing orange, so I had this giant orange trailer. It was awesome. Alright, so we'll get this back here. So far, this has remained. There we go. Alright. So, ready for some more pigs. Fill up some gas, get myself repaired. It's probably that time. We'll see. The truck usually isn't that bad. I was gonna say it might start to cost me or get me below $1 million, but I don't know that it will. So, truck fills up fast. When I fill up the harvester, that tank is so large, it takes a while. So, they brought my crappie back. Well, I guess they did bring my potato harvester back. It just kind of goes in random places. So I'll have to do some yard cleanup. I definitely don't want it there. Trying to pull into the silo and out of the silo, that's definitely going to be in the way. So I don't know if different people come pick them up, then deposit them, just don't know where they were, or that they're just not getting put back where they took them from. Because there is a method to my madness, just like there is on anyone's yard, and I certainly don't want that there. So, well, I'm going to get this crappy trailer. Now, this I did tell him, hey, if you don't want to dance around trying to park it, go ahead and just leave it in the yard. Didn't say that with the harvester, because obviously that you're driving that, and I think that's easier, but anyway. We'll leave it at that, but that's the work I had done. I'm going to get this out of the way so that I have a road in my farm again, and I'll see you next time.